Hey guys, it is Jeannette, aka SweetJeann, and today's video is going to be how I met my online boyfriend who lives in London. We are no longer together as of this year, 2020, and so excuse me if I get emotional during telling of this story, but it is a beautiful story in my heart. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you know how that happened. So I used to play Texas Hold'em all the time on Facebook. I had two accounts, one that was friends, family, coworkers, things like that, and then I had a second account open that I would play games through certain apps like Texas Hold'em, Farmville, Candy Crush, what was that other one? Bejeweled Blitz. I don't know. Facebook was new to me, so I was just kind of like figuring things out. And so, but I really took on the Texas Hold'em, and I still play a little bit to this day. I have the app on my phone. So I never really, I had an idea of how to play poker, but I've never played Texas Hold'em. So I learned how to play Texas Hold'em through the app, and I got really good at it actually. And now I'm gonna put some pictures at the end of this video of a screenshot that I took of the profile that I had at that time, which was 2011, 2012, and my stats. And my stats have probably never been better than at that time. So that way you kind of get an idea of what people were seeing as far as who they were playing against. And I'm gonna eat, I have a couple of strawberries here and I have some water here. So I was playing Texas Hold'em. I was in a tournament. Once the table was closed, nobody else could hop on and play. And every time somebody got beat, they would be kicked off the table, and it just kept getting smaller and smaller. It's a tournament. And so I was playing, and I was the only female. So all the guys saw my picture, and they're asking questions. All of them except for one were asking questions like, do you have a boyfriend? Where do you live? How old are you? What's your Facebook? Can I follow you on Facebook? Etc. etc. And I would just be very vague and general and kind of a little bit flirty too with my answers. And I noticed this one guy, Aries, who didn't say anything. And I'm like, that's strange, because I typically get hit on, especially because of my photo. I know. And he's not saying not one word. And me being the only female is getting all the attention. So anyways, Aries starts to play aggressive, like really aggressive. And one by one, they're all being kicked out, until it was just me and him. And whenever I would play, he would eliminate the other players, and then at the end he would let me win. I think he was letting me win, I'm pretty sure. And so it was just me and him at the end. Then we started using the comment section at the bottom, and we started talking, and he seemed really nice. His picture was cute. And then I said, are you gonna send me a buddy request? And what a buddy request is, next time you hop on to the app, it'll let you know if that person is at a table playing, and it'll allow you to join the table or to watch the table if it's already locked. And so I said, are you gonna send me a buddy request? And he was like, no, you're gonna send me one. And I was like, okay, well, the game's almost over because the clock is winding down. It's a tournament. It's timed. And I said, okay, well, whatever, the time's running out. And so here comes a little request. So I accepted the request. So we started playing poker together for about a month or so. This was in 2011. And then it went into 2012. It was probably about March where we started to really, people at the tables that we were playing at, they were saying stuff like, are you guys playing to converse, or are you playing to play? Because it was just his comment, my comment, his comment, my comment, his comment. Like we were talking to each other while playing. And so finally he was like, can I have your Facebook so we can message? And I'm like, I felt safe because, like I said, I had two accounts. One was my personal account and the other one was my like apps and games account. So I went ahead and gave him the name of, you know, my name, which I didn't even use my real name on that one. As a matter of fact, I think I put SweetJeann Beauty Queen or something like that. I don't know, something silly. And all the pictures that I had on there were just pictures from like here to here and here to here. And with the help of Photoshop, I might have squeezed them a little bit. And so we were messaging on the Facebook, and at that time it was like a little area on the side where you would message on Facebook. It wasn't like Messenger is today. So we started still playing, but mostly texting on Facebook. And this was, again, I think I don't know if I mentioned it, but it was probably around March of 2012. And so we messaged back and forth for a few weeks. And then he was like, can I please finally have your phone number? And so with the conversation that I had with him, and I know it's hard to read people off of text, because depending on the mood you're in is in the mood that you're going to read it. So I felt safe. So I'm like, it's not my real name. If he searches and does whatever, it's going to always come back to that account. It's not linked at all to the other account. I even blocked that SweetJeann Beauty Queen. I even blocked my Jeannette Facebook, so they were not linked at all. Anyhow, so I gave him my phone number, and as soon as I pressed send, the phone rings. And of course I know it's him because I just literally gave him the number, and because on the phone it said out of area caller. So then I answer like I don't know who it is. I'm like, hello? And he's all like, hello, may I speak with Janet, please? And so I was like, this is her. I go, it's pronounced Jeannette. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, Jeannette, but you know, in his English accent, I can't do accents. And so, so we started talking on the phone and sending pictures back and forth, of course, from here to here, here to here, because I was, and still am, self-conscious about the way I look. You know, I'm a curvy woman. So anyhow, we started playing poker, texting, talking on the phone. I had to buy calling cards because at the time I had to buy a calling card to call him, and I only had like 30 minutes or whatever, and then it would end. Because my phone, which at the time, and I think because I have T-Mobile, and I think at the time it was T-Mobile still back then. I'm sorry, my nose is drippy. I have allergies, and even my eyes are drippy. Because at the time, T-Mobile, even though I had international calling for whatever reason does not include Europe. International calling includes Mexico and Canada. So I had to pay for calling cards to call him because I didn't think it was fair for him to always call me. Anyhow, he was like, I want a video chat with you. And I was like, no, no, because you only see what I let you see through the pictures. I said, I'm a big girl. Whatever you see times that by 3, and that's what you'll get. You'll get me. And he's like, I don't care what you look like, you know, you're very pretty, you're very kind, you have a soothing voice, you're sweet, and I just want to, you know, converse with you face to face. And I was like, okay. So I downloaded the Skype. We both downloaded the Skype app, because at the time, like I said, this was 2012, March, April, probably April at this point, at the end of April, May, around there. So we started Skyping, and we got to know each other through Skype. We would talk and video chat on Skype all day, whenever we could. Every moment that we had free, we were Skyping. I spoke with him every single day, Skyped every single day. He would take his laptop to his mom's house, and we would Skype there. And I met his mom, I met his dad, I met his sister, I met his brother, spoke with them and him, and I got to know his family. And I got to know him too, as far as how he is with his family. And he has like the biggest heart, and he would do anything for any of them. And I felt very safe. And so there was no inclination of doubt as far as his intentions not being anything but sincere. So we kept on chatting, kept on talking. And so he said, you know, I would really, really like to be your boyfriend, you know, like me and you only. Like I don't want to see any other person. And he hadn't seen any other person, because we spent every spare moment together. So anyhow, so he became my boyfriend, my online international boyfriend. And so he met my family too, and he tried really hard to say like my dad's name, Juan. Not very hard, but like with the Spanish, like he didn't say John, or you know, he's like Juan. And then my mom, and he met my brothers, my sister, my nieces, my nephew, my son. Like my family knew him, and his family knew me. And so, and me and him were getting deeper into knowing each other. And I really, really enjoyed talking to him and speaking with him. I mean, he would even be, people probably thought he was vlogging out in the streets in London, but really he was video chatting with me and showing me different things. And he's like, you know, you should come to London. I said, I would love to go to London. I want to go to London. And he's like, you want to come? And I said, well, yeah. He's like, okay, well, we'll save some money, and then I'll fly you out here. I just need to get like hotel accommodation. I mean, not hotel. I went to London 3 times. This is going to be the first time. Spoiler. The second time we stayed at a hotel because of certain details, but I'll let you know that in a different video. This is just how we met. So anyhow, he saved money, and he had August in mind. So August, I believe August the 12th. God, I don't remember. It was like the first week, possibly the second week in August of 2012. And the tickets were a little bit steep, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together. The Olympics were going on in August of 2012. So of course the prices are going to be jacked. So anyways, he got the tickets, and I told my parents, I told my family that I was going to fly to London, and they were like, "Are by yourself?" And I said, yeah. So I flew to London. I've never flown before in my life, so I went and I had to get my passport. And then I flew by myself for the very first time on a plane. Actually, second time on the plane, but the first time I didn't fly. First time flying on a plane to a country that I've never been to meet someone that I've never met in person, not knowing what's gonna happen when I get there. So my parents were like, yeah, you can't go. You're female traveling to across the ocean to an unknown, I mean, it's known, it's London, but I've never been there. I don't know anybody who lives there. Traveling by myself to meet a man that I've never met in person, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem safe. But all the months from March to July of 2012 that I got to text with him, speak with him, video chat with him, spend hours and hours and hours of time with him, meeting his family, him meeting my family on multiple occasions. There was not, and I'm a single parent to one child, remember, he was in high school, and there was not 1 ounce of me that had any worry. I completely trusted him with everything. I had no fear of meeting him or staying with him or spending the night with him. I could have stayed at a hotel, but I stayed in one of his flats because he has 2. Of course, we ended up staying in the one. But that's another story that probably wouldn't need to go on the OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. So, being a single parent, you have to be hyper aware of things, because if something happens to you, that child, I mean, you can't just think of yourself. You have to think of your child as well, is what I'm trying to say. So there was no fear. I didn't have any fear, and I'm very aware of my surroundings. I'm very keen to knowing when someone is trying to take advantage of me. I mean, when I'm unlocking my car to get in my car, I'm actually looking at the glare of my car to see, because it's like a mirror image, to see if anybody's coming up behind me. Like, I'm hyper aware. I'm a female, so females usually have to be a little bit more super hyper aware of their surroundings if they're single or they're by themselves. I didn't have any worry. So I flew to London. On my way to the airport, it was my brother and my son in the back seat, and they were gonna drop me off. And my mom calls me, and they're all still like, I don't know, mija, I don't know. I don't feel good about this. I have a bad feeling. Something's gonna happen. You've seen the movie Taken, right? And I'm like, it's not like that. I trust him. I go, and then I gave my family his details. So if anything, they had his details. So anyhow, I'm driving to the airport, and so my mom calls me and she's like, mija, where are you? I said, and I had just left her house like 15 minutes prior, and I said, I'm on my way to the airport. Like, I just left your house not too long ago. She goes, there's something going on at the airport. You can't go. You have to turn around and come back home. I'm like, Mom, Mom, really, everything's fine. Everything's going to be okay. So I hang up with her. And then 2 minutes later, my sister calls. She goes, Jeannette, where are you? On the way to the airport. Actually, I'm getting off on Airport Boulevard right now. She goes, there's something going on at the airport. I think there's a bomb threat. You can't go. you have to come home. And I'm like, okay. They're really, really going off on a limb here, trying to get me to come back home. They really don't want me to go to London by myself. So then my son goes, what is she talking about? She's like, I don't know. She said that there's a threat at the airport, it's closed, and that I should come home. So then my son gets on his phone and he searches really quick, does a Google search, and he's like, Mom, there is something going on at the airport. They're sending in the SWAT team. There's a mysterious bag left in the parking lot, and they need to inspect and make sure that it's not just someone who left their bag by accident, or if there's something dangerous in there. And so I was like, what? So I'm like, well, we're already here, so I'm just gonna go. So then we're literally one turn away from going into the departure section, and this big white van comes out and another white van comes out, and then they stop in the street, and so it's blocking us from going. And then they get out and they're like, you know, directing traffic to like the outside parking lot. One of the outside parking lots at the airport, like Hertz, or I don't know, something like a rental car parking lot. And so I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Luckily, I was 2 hours early, but at that point, I was like, I thought that was a good time to be, but apparently for international flights, it's actually, you should probably go a little bit earlier. Anyhow, so there's a entrance, and it's like a maintenance entrance, or like a delivery entrance. It's like employee entrance, I don't know, but there's a delivery entrance to the right. And I looked at my brother and I said, take that entrance. I'm getting on that plane one way or another. And August in San Antonio is the hottest month, so we're looking at triple digits here. And so we get off this road, and it kind of winds this way and it winds this way. And then all of a sudden there's like a fire truck, and then police cars. And then there's a street here, which was like the arrivals and the departure. And then across is the parking lot. And so I look over, and there's all these cops in the parking area. And the parking, one of the floors, like on the 3rd or 4th floor. And so I'm like, oh my God, they even blocked this off. And then I look to the right, and there's this big tree, and there's literally like 2 stewardesses, a couple of people sitting on their luggage, and they're not even able to get in, because, and they work for the airlines, you know. So I looked at my brother, and then I said, I guess I'm waiting with them, because I'm getting on that plane. I'm going to London. Nothing is going to stop me. And so my brother's like, I'm not gonna let you I'm not gonna let you out here in the heat, you know. We'll just park and we'll see. I said, okay, thank you very much, because, you know, we have the AC. And so I said, we'll just wait, you know, like 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most. And if for whatever reason I can't get in, then I can't get in, but I might just have to walk with my luggage to the front and see if I can get in. Because at this point, I could see the entrance. It wasn't that far away, like 50 yards, like half a football field away. So we park, and then finally they open up, and so we're able to get reverse out of there and go into the right way. And so I'm in a mad rush, because my plane is going to be taking off, and I need to hurry to make that plane. So I get in line, and this is the first time that I've ever flown. This is the first time that I've ever had to check luggage. And I had a big suitcase, and then I had a regular suitcase that was carry-on for overhead. And then I had my laptop bag. And so I see the United Airlines line, and then there's one that's shorter than the other one. So I'm like, I'm gonna get on this in this lane, or in this line, you know. I'm gonna queue up. And so I get in that line, and this other girl was like, are you flying to Chicago? And then I said, yeah, because my connection was in Chicago, and then from Chicago to London. I go, yes, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And she goes, I'm on the same flight. And so then all of a sudden she has a little girl with her who's like 7, and then she says kind of loud, she's like, oh my God, this is the first class line. And so she gets out and she runs, and that other United line was like this, up, down, and I was like, I looked at it and I said, I'm not gonna make it. And so I started tearing up, and like tears were welling up in my eyes. And then when she announced it, and when she said it pretty loud, the lady at the first class counter that was checking her bag, she turned and she's looking at us, and she looks at me and she goes, are you in the wrong line? And I go, yes. And then the tears started coming, right? And she goes, come here, bring your bags. And so I walked up to her, and so she looks at the lady that was tagging her bag or whatever. She looks at the lady, the employee of the United Airlines baggage, and she goes, ma'am, once you check me in, I'm going to need you to check her in as well. Thank you very much. And the lady, the United Airlines lady, she looks at her, she looks at me, and she looks at her again, and she goes, yes, ma'am. Thank God. So she didn't have to do that, but she saw the tears and she saw the panic, I guess, and I guess she just felt it in her heart to say, you know, you're gonna check her in next. Thank you. She wasn't rude or anything. She was just, as a matter of fact, you know, and I guess as a first class flyer, you have perks, and I guess they were just, yes, ma'am. I mean, she spends a lot of money apparently on United, so that little favor cost nothing. So anyhow, so she checks me in, and then I go through the line where security, and so I had a bag with 2 body lotions and 2 body sprays that I had bought at Bed Bath & Beyond as gifts for his mom, one for his mom and one for a pair for his mom and a pair for his sister. And when I went through, they opened up my bag and they were checking it, and they took them out, and they said, you can't have more than so many ounces. And then I said, but they're brand new, they're not even open, and they're gifts, it's lotion. And they're like, it doesn't matter, you need to check them. You need to check them in your bag if you want to take them. And I said, I'm already late. I'm not gonna make it. And so I go, they already checked my bag. And then they're like, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're gonna either have to check them or we have to throw them away. And my heart hurt because they're brand new. So then I looked at the guy and I said, I don't want to throw them away, and I'm not gonna check them. So I know you have to put them in the trash can, but if you want to take them, it would not hurt my feelings. You could take them now. It would not hurt my feelings. Have them as gifts for your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, your daughter. I don't know. Just take them because they're brand new, and I don't want to check them. I'm late. I'm late. And so I got to, so he threw them in the trash, and I'm sure they don't know what I could be a bad person, and I could have contaminated them or whatever, but I felt I was dumb, like I didn't know the rule about that. Anyhow, so I'm sitting down, and the lady that helped me was in the area shopping or whatever, and she's like, are you gonna make your flight? And I said, yes, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I go, I'm flying to London, and Chicago is my checkpoint, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And she was like, oh, okay, whereabouts in London? And I said, the Earl's Court, Chelsea area. She's like, oh, very nice, very nice. Well, enjoy your trip. And I was like, thank you again, you know, I appreciate it. So I got on the flight. It left late and arrived in Chicago O'Hare. As it's arriving, my connecting flight is taking off. So I missed my connection. So I go to customer service and I tell them that I missed my connecting flight and that I need to get on the next flight out. And they're like, okay, we could put you on the next flight out. It's gonna be at what time did she say? 6:30 in the morning. Or was it 6:30? It was early in the morning. And I said, okay, put me on that one. And then they're like, okay, here's your ticket. And I looked at her and then I said, can I get like an accommodation for the hotel? And she's like, for what? I said, well, the reason why I missed my flight is because there was a BOMB threat. I don't even know if I said the actual word earlier, but I don't want this video to be tagged, to be blocked or striked or anything because I use that word and I don't want to say the word. God, I hope I didn't say it earlier. I go, there was a BOMB threat at San Antonio International Airport, and so it caused me to miss my flight, you know, and so that wasn't my fault. It's out of my control. And so she's like, well, we don't give hotel accommodations for things like that. And I said, because in my mind and all the movies that I see, they accommodate people with an overnight hotel stay at one of the hotels that are in surrounding area, or like the airport hotels. And so she was like, no, I'm so very sorry, but you know, enjoy your flight to London, blah blah blah. And I'm like, and then she's like, next. And I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. I can understand if it was something that I did that caused me to miss my flight, like if I was shopping or something like that in the airport, but there was a threat at the airport and it caused me to not be able to make my connection. She's like, ma'am, that's an airport problem or issue. It's not a United Airlines issue. So we did the best that we could. We put you on the next flight out. Next. And so I'm like, ma'am, can I speak to a manager? And she was like, she's just going to tell you the same thing that I'm telling you. That's policy. And so I had tears in my eyes again because I'm such an emotional person. And I said, thank you. I walked away. So I finally am able to like go, and I went to the gate. I sat down, I settled in, and I said, I'm going to have to spend the night at the airport. So I called my parents and I told them what happened because they were like all anxious. But I lied to them and I said that that United Airlines put me in a hotel for overnight, which they didn't, but because I didn't want them to worry that I was spending the night at the airport. And so then I called my boyfriend. Oh my God, only in America. If it was in the United Kingdom, if it was that would never happen in London. We take care of our own here and blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, it's done. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to fight with them. It's not, I feel like it's not going to accomplish anything, etc. I'm like, maybe that's their best customer service that they could offer. I don't know. I mean, if they did that with everybody, maybe they would go bankrupt. I don't know. So he was like, oh my God, well, we'll stay on the phone. I'm like, I'm freaking tired and I need to rest. So I found some seating areas where there was no armrest, so I could lay down, and I had one luggage and I put that under my legs, and then I had my laptop bag, so I laid it down facing me and I used that as a pillow, and I set my phone alarm. And so then I woke up to a full airport. I don't know how I slept through that. I must have been really tired, but I woke up to a full airport, like full, and I'm there sprawled out on the chair, on the seats, and no telling if I tooted, no telling if I burped, you know, no telling if I scratched my underarm, you know. I was like dead asleep to the world at that time. And then I wake up, and so I hear one of the little girls talking, and she's all like, Daddy, are we getting ready to leave to Switzerland or somewhere? And then I looked and I'm thinking like, we're not going to Switzerland. This gate is for London. So then I'm like, oh my God. So then I get up and I go to the gate where the girl is. And then I said, last night they gave me this gate, and I showed her my ticket. I go, for London. Is it still going to London at 6:30? She said, oh no, your gate changed to gate, I'm at gate 3, right? Your gate changed to gate 33. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So I grab my stuff and then I book it to gate 33, and that one's full. And they were leaving, they were gonna start boarding like in 30 minutes. So I had time to go a little ways. I had passed it coming and I saw it was a sandwich shop. So I went over to the gate, made sure that that was the right gate, made sure it was to London, and made sure that I was on it and everything like that. And so then they're like, okay, you know, we're gonna start boarding in 30 minutes. I said, okay, thank you. So I go back and I get a sandwich and I get a Coca-Cola. And then I come back and I'm sitting there with all these people and I'm eating my sandwich and I'm looking outside at the airplanes, and I'm like, golly, you know, because I had never flown before, never really been that far into an airport. I had been that far into an airport when I was a kid before they had sterile terminals, and now you can't go past like check-in. So anyhow, I'm like checking it out, like, wow, I guess that's a tarmac, and those are planes coming and going, and you could see planes taking off, and I'm like all excited to be there, and I'm finally gonna get on my flight to go to London, and this, that, and the other. So then I'm noticing that they keep opening the door, and like people are like 2 or 3 guys keep coming in and out, and then they're talking to the girl at the counter, but they're whispering, and I'm sitting kind of close to her, and even though it's really loud, I'm like, it doesn't sound good, like it doesn't sound like happy news or whatever. And then I close my Coke. I'm looking and I'm like, something's about to happen. So I close my Coke really tight, put it in my bag, and I had my half my sandwich in the plastic, and I get the sandwich I had in my hand, I put it in the plastic, I roll it up, put it in my bag, and I'm waiting and I'm looking, and then she gets on the microphone and she's all like, attention, United Airlines flight 1436 to from Chicago to London. Your flight has been canceled due to engine reverberation. Please report to customer service. Oh my God. So I grab my bag, grab my carry-on, and everybody gets up and they're like walking really fast, and some of them are even running. And so I start jogging, because I don't run really, but I start jogging quickly, and I'm like going through all these people that are walking to customer service, and I'm just assuming that they know where they're going. So I'm, you know, jogging with some of them, and I'm going through most of them, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm sorry, pardon me, because I'm sure I'm knocking people in the shoulders and in the arms with my bag. And you know, I'm like, excuse me, I'm sorry, oh, I apologize, you know, and I'm going, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, because I'm bumping. So then I finally get in line, and I'm not too far, and so I'm looking, there's 3 people, and one of the girls looks like she's fast, and I'm like, I want her. And then I'm like, she's getting them seated in the next flight, I'm sure. And then one of them, she looks like she doesn't want to be there. And then there's another one that's an older man, and I really can't read him. And so I'm like, I don't care, I just need to get up there, and I just need someone to help me. So finally I get up there, and the older gentleman becomes available. So I go up to him, and then I look at him, and I said, my flight just got canceled with United Airlines to London. I go, I know you are very busy, and I know you have a long line, but I just need to explain to you, I came from San Antonio. I barely made it here from San Antonio because there was a BOMB threat. The next flight out was this one at 6:30 in the morning. they were not able to accommodate me with the hotel overnight stay. So I spent the night at the airport. This is my first time flying. I chose United. I could have chosen anybody, but I chose United. All the flights were all pretty much the same because it's the Olympics are going on. And I'm flying alone. I like explained the whole thing to him, and I said, I just need someone who has good customer service to help me get on the next flight out. And I'm just so tired. So if he could just please help me. And then I started crying. I'm getting upset because he helped me. He goes, and as I'm talking, he's typing. And so he goes, I'm gonna get you on the next flight out that has available seating, and that's gonna be at I think it was the next morning. Actually, no, it was the same day. I think it was like at 2:50 or 3:50, one of those. And so he goes, he's like, do you mind where you sit? And I said, I don't care. And so I would have loved to go first class, but of course, no. So he's typing and typing, and he's listening to me, and I have tears in my eyes because I'm just so exhausted. And it was just a lot to go through to get to where I wanted to go. And, you know, I had so much feelings for Aries, and I started to kind of fall in love with him. And I just wanted to meet him, to know for sure, you know, because you can never really know until you meet someone in person. So anyways, he prints out these tickets, and he goes, here's $60 of credit for like food or whatever at the airport. So go have yourself something to eat. The next flight out is at 3:50, so I put you on the next flight out. And I didn't ask you, but I assumed it was okay. I extended your trip for 2 days since you pretty much missed already a day and a half. And I said, that's fine, thank you. And he goes, and I'm putting you up for a hotel. He goes, go get some sleep. Go get some sleep, and then come back refreshed, take a shower. He actually said that. He's like, go take a shower, go relax, go sleep, get some sleep, and then come back, and then I want you to enjoy your trip. And I apologize for everything that you've gone through, and that's not what United Airlines stands for. You know, this, that, and the other. And while he's typing and while I'm telling this story, I was looking at him, and he had on a vest, and he had all these pins on both sides, all these pins. And I'm not 100% certain because my eyes were a little blurry, but I think they were like customer service, best employee, you know, like 1 year anniversary, 2 year anniversary, like all, you know, 10-year anniversary, 20-year anniversary, because he was an older gentleman. He had a head of white hair. And he pretty much made everything better. And then I got to the hotel. Sorry, I am dealing with allergies right now. So let me see, my strawberry napkin. I'm sorry, guys. So anyhow, he made everything better. He made everything all right. I know this is a long story. We're getting to the end. I think we're at 44 minutes. Jeez Louise. So I get on my flight. When I go to the hotel, take a shower, go to sleep, get back to the airport in due time, had myself something to eat, you know, looked around, went to the gate, boarded, and then it was a long, I think it was like 8 hours flight. Gosh, it was brutal, but it was nice, you know, because they feed you and you get to walk up and down just to get the blood flowing in your legs. The bathrooms are a little tight, but hey, you know, you're on a plane. So then I get there and it's so crowded because there's the Olympics going on during that time, you know. So it's so crowded, and I get off and there's all these like pink, I guess it's pink or fuchsia was the color of the Olympics at that time, I don't know. But in London they had all these like pink ribbons and like pink what is it called, like dividers, like aisles. And so, and all these people are holding signs. So I went and I grabbed my luggage from baggage claim. And so I'm going, and all these people are holding signs with names, like, you know, because they're picking people up or whatever. And goodness. And I'm walking out, and on the plane, before we got there, I asked the stewardess, I go, can you tell me when it's about 45 minutes before we land? So she said, okay. So then she told me, and so I straightened my hair, and then I put on a face of makeup, and then I went to the bathroom, and I you know, cleaned up a little bit, washed my face, brushed my teeth, and then I put a full face of makeup, and I changed my clothes. God, it's hard to change in those little bathrooms when you're my size. So anyway, it was all worth it. So anyways, I come out and I'm like smiling, very nervous, because he's out there in the crowd somewhere waiting for me. And so I'm walking slowly and I'm smiling and I'm looking through the crowd. I'm like, that's not him. 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 Is that him? No, that's not him. You know, and I'm like looking for him through all these eyes in the crowd, all these heads in the crowd, and I don't see him. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm wondering if he's like looking at me from afar to see what I would do. So I go all the way to the end of the little pink ribbon divider, and then there's like a couple rows of seats, and then there's a big huge door that keeps, a sliding door that keeps opening and closing, opening and closing. And I could see London out there, and I could feel the fresh air coming through, which was so surprising because in August here I was wearing flip-flops and I was wearing shorts and tank tops, and driving without the AC would cause me to sweat. And over there it was cool. It was like 70 and below, like well, when I got there it was in the morning, so it was colder than usual, but it was cool and it was fresh. And I'm like, do they not have summer over here or what? So anyways, I didn't see him, so I went and I parked my luggage that he bought me, by the way, and sent me online, these pink luggage. I'll send at the end of this video, I'm gonna include a picture of my poker stats and my profile picture that he saw, and that what attracted him to me at first. And then I'll also post a picture of the luggage that he sent me, pink luggage, it's so cute, and some other little pictures that maybe of us at in Hyde Park, or us on the London Eye with the Big Ben in the background. And then I'll also link a slideshow that I posted back in 2012, pictures of us. I was not a YouTuber. I don't even consider myself a YouTuber still, but I was not one to like post videos at that time really, and so it was just pictures. I wish I would have taken videos, that would have been nice, but I just had my phone and I only had so much memory, and didn't ever think to buy a camera, you know, to go over there, because I was going over there to see him, not to see all the sights. Of course that was nice, but my main was to see him and spend time with him and be with him. Anyhow, so I sit down and I'm like, where is he? And I remember, and so I'm waiting, and then people are leaving, and it's getting not as crowded, and it's more people are leaving, and I feel so alone. And I didn't want to go out those doors and look around, because what if I can't get back in? I don't know what I was thinking. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, is he not, he knows the details. And it was early in the morning when I got there. And so I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, like, did he see me and then leave? Like, oh no, I did not sign up for this. She does not look anything what I expected in real life. You know, like, I'm thinking all the worst case scenarios. So anyhow, I remember he told me, he's like, if for whatever reason there's any issues, or you get there early or you get there late, or, you know, we're not, you know, you don't see me, or if I don't see, he goes, you have my number, you have my mom's number, you have my sister's phone number, and you have my brother's phone number. He goes, there's always going to be a foreign exchange, like money, for you to change your money into pounds and sterling and coin, you know, coinage. He goes, change, get some change, get some British pound sterling, and get some coins. He goes, there's pay phones in every terminal and every little area. Every so often there's pay phones, and if you don't see them right away, ask somebody, because there's going to be pay phones. Call me, call my mom, call somebody. And so I said, okay. So then finally I was like, sitting there, and I'm like, oh, are you kidding me right now? So then I was like, oh, okay, let me do what he told me to do. So I went and I changed some money. I got coins. There was a whole little hallway full of payphones on one side, and then on the other side were the bathrooms. Hi, Mama.
Hi, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So then I went to the payphones, and then I called his phone number, and then it was just like beep, 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 beep. Like, it wasn't going through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So then I'm like, okay, I'll call his mom. So then I call his mom. I call his mom, and mind you, this is like 6:30 in the morning, and she sleeps with, she has sleep apnea, so she sleeps with one of those machines. And so I call her, I wake her up, and she's all like, hello. I'm like, Miss M, because I don't want to say her name. I'm like, Miss M, this is Jeannette. And she goes, hello. I'm like, Miss M, this is Jeannette. Hello. And she hangs up. She hangs up. And so finally, I hang the phone up, and I look around at my surroundings, and I say out loud, I say, are you effing kidding me right now? But I didn't say effing, I said the whole word, the real word. Are you effing kidding me right now? Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? And then, because I was like, I'm here in London by myself. I don't have enough money for a hotel. I just have money for necessities, because he was gonna pay for stuff, you know. Anyway, I was like, are you effing kidding me? So then after like a few seconds of me saying that, I want to make sure it's still recording. Yeah, the phone rings. The phone rings, and I answer, hello. He's all like, oh my God, I missed the tube to Heathrow, and I had to wait for the next one, and I'm on my way. I said, I tried calling you and it go through. He goes, I was in the tunnel. He was in the underground or in the tunnel, I don't know, and they don't, it cuts the service out for a moment or whatever. He goes, you're still at terminal whatever and gate whatever. And I'm like, yes, I'm over here. There's a big huge sliding door open, and there's all these chairs and this and that and the other. And he's like, okay, I'll be right there. So I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, thank you. I'll be waiting for you. I have my pink luggage with me, so you'll recognize where I'm at with the luggage. So then I'm just standing there in the middle of this area, And so this lady's handing out like pamphlets and stuff like that. And so I'm she's just walking around handing them out. And she comes walking up to me and she's all like, hello, would you like a map? And I said, oh yes, thank you. And she goes, oh, you're an American. Where from? And I said, I'm from Texas. And she goes, oh, cowboys and Indians. And so I said, yeah. And she goes, you here for the Olympics? And I said, no, I'm meeting somebody. She goes, oh, all right. Well, if you have any questions after looking at the maps, let me know. And I was like, okay, thank you. She's like, oh, I love your American accent. You speak good American English. And so I was like, American English, okay. But I was like, oh, thank you. So then oh, and I go, oh, excuse me, if someone is coming off the tube, subway station, if someone's coming off the tube into Heathrow, like, where would they be coming from? And she's all like, she points over there, she goes, it'd be either coming off the lift, or right next door would be the escalator. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. So then I made myself to where I'm standing with my back, well, I'm standing sideways so he could see my profile. And so, because I had these jeans on that had all these rhinestones on the pocket, and I wanted him to see all those rhinestones and my big booty and my long hair that went all the way down to my waist. And so I was trying to set up so that I would look very, very nice, like a good angle of myself. So I'm looking like sideways, and I forgot to say, when I was on the phone with him before we hung up on the payphone, I go, wait, what are you wearing? What color are you wearing? So I could visually see him. He starts laughing. He goes, I'm wearing some black trousers and a red jumper. And I was like, jumper? He's like a sweater, but I didn't figure that out till later. So anyways, I keep looking sideways and I keep looking for red and black. And so finally, I see him, and then I kind of turn away because I'm like, oh God, he's coming. And so I'm like, I could see him in my peripheral vision, and he goes to a counter and he asks them a question, and then they point across to where the payphones are. And so I'm like, what? Why is he pointing over there? I'm not over there. I'm right here. So then I see that he doesn't turn into the hallway, and he's still coming like towards me. So I'm like playing it off like I didn't know he was coming, right? And so all of a sudden he comes behind me, and then he covers, he covers my eyes, and he's all like, guess who? And I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, finally. So then we hug, and then we stand back like a foot away from each other, and we're looking at each other. And then we hug again. And so he's like, are you ready? And I'm like, you have no idea. So then he grabs my bags and he goes, I need to go to the bathroom first. So then we go down that hallway. And so he uses the bathroom, and I'm standing in the hallway, and he's kind of taking a little bit of time. And I'm like, oh my God, he doesn't like me. He's stalling. He jumped out the window or something, he's going to leave me here stranded. So I'm like, he's taking too long, So then he finally comes out, walks straight up to me, grabs my face, and then we kiss for the first time ever. And so it just felt so comforting, and I was just really, really happy. And then we stopped, obviously, because there's a lot of people there. And he looks at me and he smiles, and he's like, okay, now I'm ready. And I'm like, okay. So then that's all she wrote. So I did go to London 2 other times, and I guess those will have to be on another story time, because we're already an hour in this video. I didn't realize it was going to be this long. But anywho's, sorry guys, if you got to this point in the video, leave a Union Jack flag in the comments below so that I know that you made it all the way this way. I'm gonna sign off by saying goodbye, good night, sweet dreams, and I'll see you tomorrow.